Hey, what up everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here today. This is a video I make in kind of sadness. I'm all decked up. Today is the day that I'm going back to work after my vacation to Florida. This video is based off of an article that was written on WWE.com this week about 5 superstars that we would want to see face The Undertaker, since The Undertaker has made his return, is going to be wrestling at SummerSlam 2015. The list is compiled of guys like Sheamus, Seth Rollins, Luke Harper, Finn Balor, and Sting. And honestly, out of this list, I mean, everybody has a good chance of maybe facing The Undertaker minus Luke Harper. Luke Harper, in my idea, just doesn't, built up to being a match against The Undertaker unless it's a throwaway match for a Monday Night Raw or a SmackDown leading up to a Undertaker versus Bray Wyatt match. But we've already seen that match happen at WrestleMania 31, and it seems like when I was watching the pre-show to Monday Night Raw, they're talking about The Undertaker as if WrestleMania 31 never happened, trying to make that mean a little bit more for the rematch. That they're making it seem like we haven't seen The Undertaker in 16 months. That it's sort of like, well, I saw him at WrestleMania, didn't you? Maybe we saw a hologram fight or something like that. But Sheamus is a guy that was rumored to fight The Undertaker. People were wanting this match around WrestleMania 27, thinking that Sheamus was a up-and-coming superstar, could build a little bit up to somebody going after and trying to break the streak. For a long time, we've been feeding people to Undertaker, thinking that they have a chance to beat the streak, thinking that Undertaker would want to get back to wrestling and trying to build up the future. That's why when I look at this list, the one guy that I think that has the best chance of having a great match against Undertaker would be Finn Balor, bringing out the demon that he has within. I know that Undertaker is going to be wrestling, he's going to be wrestling against Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam 2015. And from there, Undertaker has said that he's going to wrestle on the Mexico tour, which I believe is in October, but I'm not 100% sure on those dates. A little bit surprised that Undertaker would go on the tour, not 100% sure if he's just going to be making appearances where he shows up at the end, sort of like in a dark match and just sort of does the appearance to save the baby faces, and then everybody goes home happy knowing that they saw The Undertaker appear in front of them. Maybe he gets physical, throwing a punch or two, but I'm not 100% sure that Undertaker is going to be wrestling house show matches in Mexico just for the hell of it. I remember that when he was coming back for, I believe, WrestleMania 30, he did a return match where he came back at a house show against Wade Barrett. I believe it was in Odessa, Texas. Or somewhere, in a real small town. I was really surprised to see this. It blew up, WWE.com. It blew up YouTube. Everyone in the YWC was talking about this. They couldn't believe that Undertaker would return and wrestle at a house show. WWE.com and WWE was tweeting about it, letting it know, be common knowledge that The Undertaker had returned to WWE, more than likely hyping up his first comeback to Monday Night Raw, maybe helping the WrestleMania build up to everything that was going on around there. But if anybody's going to be wrestling Undertaker on those tours, I can easily see it being against the guy like Seth Rollins, a guy that's in the WWE Championship hunt. Maybe you sort of build that up. But honestly, in my mind, Undertaker is the guy that's been in the wrestling business forever. He's been living this Undertaker gimmick for decades. And I really do believe that Undertaker is going to give back to wrestling someday. And I think that, honestly, Undertaker's the kind of guy that he might not watch every episode of Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, but I can easily see that he catches up on things like when people tell him, make sure you watch NXT to see, the guys that are going to be building up the future for WWE. That way, wrestling does live on. I could see that Undertaker checking out NXT, seeing Finn Balor as a superstar of the future, and maybe being able to add a little bit to the arsenal of what Finn Balor is. Finn Balor, honestly, in my mind, every time he comes out as the demon within, when he's wrestled, the big tag match, when it was him and Itami, and they went up against the Ascension, when he did it against Kevin Owens, when he won the NXT Championship, when he did it in the #1 Contenders match, and he wrestled against Tyler Breeze. I believe in all of those matches, he's undefeated when he puts the demon gimmick on, and that's sort of like to bring out everything that's within him and turn to this evil side. Honestly, WWE hasn't done a real good story. I know they did the 1 hour, it might have only been a half hour documentary on Finn, but they never really have explained what this character is that he turns himself into to become indestructible. And easily, getting into a big feud where you have these segments where you sort of see him. They had the little commercials for the Beast in the East show, where basically you saw Finn Balor standing in a suit, and then it just sort of flashed back and forth between him and the demon, that he was coming, you know what I mean? And easily, Finn Balor going up against the Undertaker, is a way to sort of, pull that storyline out of Finn and make it see, because, I mean, on the documentary, they made it seem like he's a really easy, calm, go-going guy who likes to build Legos in his free time, and is borderline kind of a geek. He's sort of just like you and me. I hear a lot of things on, wrestling podcasts, especially like with Ric Flair, talking about how the guys today, that are coming up in the business, they don't like to go hit the bars after the show. They go home, they play video games, and, they don't really, go out on the town and live it up the way like the Freebirds did, or Ric Flair, or, any of those guys from back in the day. So I need something to make me understand, what Finn Balor is when he comes out, when he's all painted up. Because to me, it seems like it's something more than just paint on his skin. It's something like it's a character. And maybe we won't know about this until Finn Balor somewhere down the road turns heel, because in my mind, the demon is more of a heel character. And maybe he gets put under some spell by Bray Wyatt. Maybe it's something to do with the Undertaker. He turns into this character full time, which does take a little bit away from when he does do it for the special shows. But then again, I think that's what people really want from Finn. They like seeing Finn Balor a wrestler, but I think they like him, decked out in the paint, more than anything else. So, maybe they could do something where he gets, sucked into this demon role full time, and then, when he does the face turn somewhere down the road, that's when he breaks out of the demon gimmick, but then he wouldn't be able to do it at all either. So there's pros and cons to everything that goes along to it. But out of this list of guys, easily Finn Balor is the best guy to go up against the Undertaker, which I think would build something to the future, and I think Undertaker would be able to help and be able to give back to the future of wrestling.